January 26th, 2026. One government post. One number, 221. Just 3 digits, right? But here's the thing. Those numbers represent people. Taiwanese citizens, gone after crossing into China during 2025. The headline screams, missing. But wait, are they actually missing? Or is something else going on here? See, in the world's most surveilled places, you don't vanish in the dark. You vanish in paperwork. Imagine this. CCTV cameras everywhere. Facial recognition. Digital payments tracking your every move. How does someone disappear? The answer's actually pretty terrifying, because sometimes the system doesn't lose you, it hides you, on purpose. So today we're diving deep. What does 221 really mean? Let's find out together. And trust me, by the end, you'll understand why a simple trip across the strait became complicated. Oh, and one more thing. This isn't just Taiwan's problem, it could be anyone's problem, even yours. Ready? Let's start with that number. 221. What does it actually count? So Taiwan's government, specifically the Mainland Affairs Council, or MAX, releases this stat. 221 cases in 2025. Sounds straightforward, right? 221 missing Taiwanese, but hold on. Let's read the fine print together. This number isn't just missing persons. It's actually 3 categories bundled together. Lost contact, detention/interrogation, and restricted movement. Think about that difference. Missing sounds like they evaporated, but restricted movement? That's someone knows exactly where they are. Mac actually broke it down further. Over 2 years, 2024 through 2025, they counted 276 total cases. Of those, 95 lost contact, 21 under detention or investigation, 160 with restricted freedom. See the pattern? Here's where it gets interesting. About 70% of those restricted freedom cases related to fraud and scam operations. So we're not talking about 221 political prisoners disappeared into the night. It's way more complicated than that. But, and this is crucial, fraud case doesn't automatically mean safe. You know why? Because of how help works, or doesn't. Let me ask you something. If your family member got arrested abroad, what's the first thing you'd do? You'd call your embassy, right? Your government's hotline. Someone who can check on them. Maybe send a lawyer. Now imagine that hotline's been disconnected. No embassy to call. No official channel that works. That's the real crisis here. Taiwan and China used to have a tourism coordination mechanism. Think of it like a customer service line for emergencies. Lost passport, accident, hospital. The two sides could talk it out. Not anymore. Beijing shut that down. So when Mac says 221, they're not just counting incidents. They're counting incidents where nobody can help. Okay, so how does this actually work? How do you make someone disappear without making them disappear? Let me introduce you to 2 mechanisms. First one's called an exit ban. Sounds bureaucratic, boring. It's not. An exit ban means you can walk around freely, go to hotels, eat at restaurants, but you cannot leave the country. Imagine being in a country with no embassy for your passport, and you can't leave. How long could you survive? China can slap exit bans on anyone, criminal cases, civil disputes, national security concerns, and foreigners aren't exempt. Multiple countries warn their citizens about this. The US, UK, Australia. It's not a Taiwan-only problem. Now, the second mechanism's even scarier. It's called RSDL, residential surveillance at a designated location. Sounds almost homey? Here's what it actually means. You're held in a secret location. No family contact, no lawyer. Sometimes for months. Human rights groups have a different name for this. They call it enforced disappearance. Because that's what it is. The law says prosecutors should supervise these detentions. In practice, there's no record of supervisors actually visiting these locations. Think about it. You're sitting in a room. No windows maybe, no phone, no contact with outside world. Your family doesn't know where you are. Your government can't reach you. Do you even legally exist at that moment? In 53 documented cases of RSDL, not a single person was allowed a lawyer. Not one. 0. And remember, we're talking about CCTV everywhere. Digital tracking, the most surveilled society on Earth. Yet these people, invisible. The system's so good at watching, it can make you vanish inside it. That's the paradox. That's the nightmare. Would you take that risk? Would you visit a place where this could happen? Hold that thought. So let's talk about that broken hotline I mentioned. This is where Taiwan's government gets really worried. For years, Taiwan and China had this unofficial but functional system. Like a back channel for solving tourist problems. It wasn't perfect, but if someone got sick, lost documents, had an accident, both sides could coordinate. Basic human stuff. Then political tensions rose. Beijing decided no more coordination. That channel? Shut down. Line disconnected. Mac keeps emphasizing this phrase. No way to seek help. In Chinese, it's "Qiuzhu wu men," no door to knock on. And this isn't just about major crimes or political cases. Think about regular travel problems multiplied by isolation. Your kid gets sick. You need to extend your visa. You have a business dispute. Normally, these get sorted out. But when there's no coordination channel, every small problem becomes a potential crisis. No safety net, no backup plan. This is why Taiwan bumped up its travel alert to orange in June 2024. Orange means avoid unnecessary travel. The trigger? China issued new legal guidelines about punishing Taiwan independent separatists. More on that in a minute, but the core message is this. If something goes wrong, we can't help you. We literally have no way. Imagine traveling somewhere and your government basically says, you're on your own. How would that feel? And it's not just Taiwan. Other countries have similar warnings, but Taiwan's situation is unique because of politics. Beijing doesn't see Taiwanese as foreigners. They see them as wayward citizens, which makes everything more complicated. Okay, here's where we need to be really careful, because 221 includes very different types of situations. Remember that 70% fraud-related number? Those are criminal cases. People involved in scam operations, mostly in Southeast Asia. China's been cracking down hard on these operations. So lots of arrests, detentions, movement restrictions. That's law enforcement. But then there are the other cases. The political ones. The ones that make headlines. Let me tell you two stories. Story 1, Yang Chih-yuan, a Taiwanese activist, founded a small pro-independence party, never a major political player. He moved to China in 2022 to teach and play Go, that ancient strategy game. Thought he'd left politics behind. August 2022. He's detained, held in RSDL for 2 years, no family contact, no lawyer, complete blackout. August 2024. He's convicted of separatism, 9 years in prison. The first Taiwanese ever convicted of this crime? His crime? Political activities he did in Taiwan years before moving to China. Activities that were legal in Taiwan. Human Rights Watch calls this long-arm jurisdiction. Punishing someone for actions taken outside China's borders. In a democracy, story 2. Yanhe, known as Fucha, a publisher, founded a Taipei-based publishing house in 2009. His company published books critical of the Chinese Communist Party. History books, memoirs, academic works. Stuff that's normal in Taiwan. March 2023. He travels to China to visit family and handle residency paperwork. He'd become a Taiwanese citizen recently. He needed to cancel his Chinese household registration, a bureaucratic step for citizenship. Should have been simple. Instead, detained. RSDL again? 2 years of silence. Finally sentenced in March 2025, 3 years for inciting secession. His crime? Publishing books in Taiwan. Books that challenge Beijing's version of history, that's it. That's the whole crime. Now, these are high-profile cases. They get media attention, but think about the people who don't make headlines. Business people, tourists, students, regular folks caught in something they didn't understand. No cameras, no international outcry. So when you see 221, you're seeing fraud cases and political cases mixed together. Very different realities. That mixing makes it easy to dismiss everything as politics, or to ignore the real legal risks. Both are wrong. The truth is messier. Some cases are criminal crackdowns, some are political intimidation. Both can trap innocent people, so why did the number jump so dramatically? 55 cases in 2024, 221 in 2025. That's a fourfold increase. Something changed, but what? Let's look at possible explanations, not guessing. Analyzing data. Explanation 1. Fraud crackdowns intensified. China ramped up enforcement against scam operations. More arrests equals more restricted movement cases. Explanation 2. The definition's broad. Remember, it's not just missing. It's contact loss plus detention plus movement restriction. Wider net. Explanation 3. The notification system broke down. If China doesn't tell Taiwan someone's detained, they appear missing initially. Explanation 4. Political escalation. June 2024, China issued those 22 guidelines threatening death penalty for independence advocates. Those guidelines basically criminalized being pro-Taiwan independence. Even speech, even past activities. Long-arm jurisdiction, remember? That created a chilling effect. People self-censored, but it also gave authorities broader grounds for detention. Explanation 5. Taiwan improved reporting. They set up hotlines, encouraged people to report incidents. More reports equals higher numbers. Think about crime statistics. If you add reporting channels, reported crimes go up. Doesn't mean crime increased. Visibility increased. Explanation 6. We don't know how many people traveled. If 10 million Taiwanese visited China, 221 is different than if 1 million visited. The denominator matters. Risk rate versus absolute numbers. We need more data to calculate true danger level. Honestly, it's probably all of the above. Multiple factors, that's how real-world crises work. Not one cause, compound effects. But here's what we know for sure. Something shifted between 2024 and 2025. The risk environment changed. Whether it's more dangerous or just more visible, or both, that's the question. And it affects 200,000 plus monthly travelers. All right, so what does all this mean? For you, for travelers, for anyone watching U.S.-China relations? First, this isn't just about Taiwan politics, it's about consular access, legal transparency, due process, universal issues. When a government can detain people without notification, without lawyer access, without oversight, that affects everyone who enters that country. The U.S. State Department has similar warnings, so does UK Foreign Office. Australia, Canada. This is recognized international concern. Second, the breakdown of communication channels matters more than individual cases. When problems can't be solved, small issues become crises. Third, mixing criminal cases with political cases in one statistic creates confusion. Makes it easy to manipulate narratives. Beijing can say it's just criminal enforcement. Critics can say it's all political persecution. Reality? Both things are happening. Fourth, if you're planning to travel anywhere with complex political situations, research isn't optional. It's survival. Check your government's travel advisories, understand legal risks, know your embassy's emergency contacts. Boring? Yes. Important? Absolutely. Let me ask you one last question. Imagine your family member goes to visit relatives. Then, silence. No calls, no texts. You try to find help, but there's no hotline, no coordination channel, no official who can check on them. How would that feel? That uncertainty, that helplessness. That's what Kuju Wu Men means. No door to knock on. 221 isn't just a statistic. It's 221 families living that nightmare in just 1 year. So when you hear about rising tensions between countries, remember, it's not abstract. It has real human costs. The world's getting smaller. Borders are getting blurrier. But safety nets, they're getting weaker. That should worry all of us. Today, you heard a story about numbers, about systems, about people caught between governments and laws. The question isn't just what happened to 221 people. It's what happens when help disappears. So now that you've heard this story, what do you think? How does it change how you see cross-border travel? That's the story for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, numbers always have faces behind them.